Hey there, lovely people. Welcome to Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky, your go-to hangout for all things spiritual, subconscious, and downright magical. We're here to sprinkle a little mystical wisdom into your everyday life and help you level up your reality.
Picture this as your cosmic coffee date, where we chat about the unseen world, blend in some psychology vibes and stir up the subconscious magic. Get ready to be the queen of your own reality, live a life that lights you up and have a blast doing it.
So grab your latte or your tea and let's dive into another episode of Be Your Best You, where the mystical meets the mundane and your best life awaits.
Cheers to creating magic together.
Let's do this. Hello and welcome to our podcast, Be Your Best You with Tash and Becky. This podcast is for anyone who is interested in the unseen world, the mystical things that people are always interested in but a bit scared to talk about, or people think, oh, that's a bit strange or crazy, or we're all into that. This podcast is for anyone who finds that stuff really, really interesting, might be a bit skeptical, but wants to hear more. We want to bring this world to you in a way that you can understand, like talking about it in everyday examples and helping you to realize that this kind of magical, unseen world is all around you all the time. And if you can just see it from a new perspective and open your eyes to a different way of seeing this world, it can become magical, inspirational, and help you to live a happier, more contented, fulfilled life where you feel in total control over yourself and the life that you're actually creating for yourself. So my name's Natasha. I'm a qualified hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, expert in all things subconscious mind, and completely obsessed with this unseen world that I have just found myself journeying into for the past 4 years. And I'm just so excited to share it with you.
And I'm Becky, and I'm so privileged to be Tasha's best friend and be on this journey with her over the last 4 years. It's been absolutely amazing. She's taught me so much with everything that she's learnt, and she's helped so many other people as well. And she's changed my life and the way I see the world, and all these mystical, magical, unseen things that can really work for you if you can understand it. And we just really would love to share all that with you.
Okay, so what can you expect to be listening to in this podcast conversation? Why do you want to listen to it? Well, this is the type of thing we're going to be talking about. We want to talk about the unseen world, all that stuff, that mystical, magical stuff that everyone's interested in, aren't they? Everyone wants to talk about it, but then you got the skeptics, you got the people that are a bit too scared to talk about it. That was us, isn't it? The people that are full on into it, but nevertheless, everybody's interested in it in some way. Well, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the unseen world, spirituality, the subconscious mind. I'm a past life regressionist, so we'll be talking about past lives and all the stuff that I've learned from doing those past life regressions, which gets quite deep, quite existential, and has some great lessons for life now, ironically. What else? Manifestation, law of attraction, and all of this stuff is quite trendy at the moment, isn't it? Which is amazing, because it means more and more people are having their eyes open to it, and honestly, that's the whole point of us doing the podcast, isn't it? We've discovered this world, and now we just feel like we need to share it with as many people as possible, because it's made our lives so much better.
And go deeper into it as well.
Exactly. But not only that, I think where we're different is because I went to med school. I was in med school for 3 years to become a doctor. I was very, very scientific. And I was a massive skeptic. But because I, through a series of events, had a complete 180. Had a 180. And I've got totally thrown into this spiritual world, this unseen world. I still have that scientist in me. And so I'm always looking for the science to back up the woo-woo, shall we say, or the science to back up the spirituality. And I found it.
Yeah, and this is where you enticed me into your world, because you could back everything up with science, and it makes total sense.
That's the thing.
And it can change your life.
Yes. And that's the aim of this podcast, isn't it? To dive in, and we have no boundaries. Like, we have gone so big now, haven't we? Like, we have expanded into somewhere where we probably never thought we would be. And a lot of people might think we've lost the plot.
I'm sure a lot of people do.
However, whether that's true or not, I personally believe it's not. It's made our lives better in so many ways. It's improved our life, hasn't it? And actually, there's been some really important things that we've taken away from it. And that is why we wanted to start this podcast. We have been going through this journey for the last 4 years, and we meet every day for our dog walks. And we found our conversations that we were having were getting deeper and deeper, and we were walking away from these conversations like buzzing, weren't we?
Oh my goodness, I was up there somewhere. I couldn't come back down.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter how, like, what was going on in our lives, these conversations were just raising our energy like through the roof. And then we got to a point where we were like, and this is probably a couple of years ago actually, so this podcast has been a couple of years in the making, and we just knew that it was now the right time. But anyway, we just knew that we wanted to share the conversations that we were having in the hopes that it could do the same thing through the radio waves for you.
That's right.
And if we can make a difference to one person and make them feel the way we feel when we leave those woods, well,
amazing.
That's it, isn't it?
And Tash is the one to do it.
And you.
She will capture you and raise your vibration.
But Becky is brilliant because she's been with me along the whole journey. And if it wasn't for Becky and me being able to bounce off of her, tell her, and be completely open with some of the, quite frankly, wacky things that I was coming into contact with, I would have probably not been where I am. Well, I definitely wouldn't be where I am now, because I would have talked myself out of it. I would have felt lonely. I would have felt like I was maybe going a bit crazy. But the fact that I could talk to Becky, and then I could see she was getting it, and it was
you were
making
lighting
a
me
difference.
up.
That we then bounced off each other.
And we realised what a lonely place it must be for those people who cannot talk about these things to anyone, who do get shut down.
Exactly. And that's why we wanted to start this podcast, so that we have a place where you can come and listen, you can come and learn, and we can take that kind of spirituality and those woo-woo concepts that people dismiss and think are just a little bit too out there, and I can mix it with the science that I have learned and kind of, found to back it up, not to mention the experience that I have every single day working with the subconscious mind as a hypnotherapist. And I can bring it all together in a really easy to understand way that just makes sense.
Is your superpower, by the way.
Thank you. But that is that's my passion. That's what I want to do. And it's just, Becky, you just help me do it in such a way that it makes it understandable. Our conversations bring it to the real world, don't they? That's what we want to do. We wanted to bring this spirituality into the real world, so that you can see it happening real time. It becomes no longer this kind of out there crazy thing, but it actually makes sense because you actually experience it for yourself in your everyday life, in the small things.
That's right.
But it's the small things
it is the small
that make
things.
the difference, isn't
it? It is. And they're those things that are happening every day.
Yeah, exactly.
And it will change your life for the better. And we just want that for everybody, don't we?
And like Becky said, it can be a lonely place when you want to talk about, anything to do with spirituality, anything to do with the unseen world that can't be necessarily proven by science, and that society has just been conditioned to think that, you're crazy if you believe that, or laugh about it, or whatever they want to do. It's lonely when you're in that world by yourself. And we felt very lucky as we were going through this that we had each other. And then the more people we come into contact with that we've spoken about in this world, they haven't been so lucky to have people to talk to. And it's a lonely place. and like I said, it's such a shame, because then you can so easily talk yourself out of it and stop exploring it. And so what we want to do with this podcast is we've also created a Facebook group for this podcast, and that we ask, the listeners, we ask you guys to come join us, and that is a safe space where we can have these conversations. You can speak to other like-minded people. It's safe. Also, we really want to talk to you. We want to have conversations, don't we? So use it to ask questions of us, give us ideas for episodes of things to talk about. We can just never stop talking, especially me. Sorry, I'm the talker, Becky's the listener. You'll get that. But and so we just want to have it as a way to interact with you, and like we said, a safe community. And also the thing is as well, like when you come into this world of spirituality, self-development, personal development, personal growth, this kind of whole world, you become very aware of the negativity that's around. And it becomes difficult because you recognize this negativity in the people around you, and you want to surround yourself with positive people and positive thoughts and people that are actively working on themselves as well. And unfortunately, a lot of people around you might not be in that zone. And so, we are the who we hang around with.
And people will naturally drop away from you as you raise that vibration.
That's true. And so again, it becomes lonely. But when you're in this Facebook group that we have set up, it Be Your Best You Facebook group, then we'll leave the link in the notes. But
we can all share together.
You can be around the positivity. You can be around people who are actually going to raise your energy up. And we're going to be talking about energy a lot in the episodes to come, aren't we? But and that is basically the aim of this podcast. This is just an introduction to let you know, if you think that it sounds something that you're going to be interested in, it's raising your curiosity, we've got so much to share, then please make sure you follow this podcast now. If you know anybody, any friends or anyone you know that might find this interesting, helpful, please share it with them. Obviously, our aim is to just get this out to as many people and to help as many people as possible, isn't it? That really is. And I feel like we just need to put a disclaimer. We are not trying to preach to anyone.
No.
We are just being ourselves. And we just want to share with you what we have experienced for the last 4 years. So we're not just talking the talk. For the last 4 years, we have been like scientists. We've been putting everything that we've learned into practice, and we are watching the results, and the results are all coming back as this stuff works.
That's right.
This stuff works. And sometimes we've had to wait a year, like 2 years. This has been in the making, hasn't it? We've had to wait time. It's a journey, but it's never failed us.
No.
It's never failed us, has it? And so all we ask is that you listen to this podcast with an open mind, because over the 4 years, like we said, our consciousness has kind of expanded to somewhere where we never thought we would even have normal conversations about this stuff, everyday conversations. But have an open mind, take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't. That's absolutely fine. And if you have questions, or if you kind of, want to know more about what we've talked about, please get in touch with us. Put it in the Facebook group, or send us an email, and we would love to answer the questions.
I'm so excited, and I'm so passionate for everybody to hear what Tash has to say, because she's amazing. She will change your life. She's already changed so many people's lives, and you have to hear what this girl has to say.
But our conversations are going to be so helpful, aren't they? Because we just talk about this stuff in a very everyday way, and Beck just is always curious, is always asking questions, and it helps me, because then I have to start thinking about things to explain it, don't I? And so we think we're a good team, and we just want to share like our energy. Like we said, it just comes back to, we want to share the energy. We want to leave you feeling like positive, uplifted, energized, inspired, and excited to just go out there and grab life, because you can, and you can do it in such a magical way, and you have so much more power than you realize. And we're just excited to share that with you.
We are. I can't wait.
So thank you so much for listening to our intro. We can't wait for you to continue listening to our episodes. Make sure you follow the Facebook group. Please, please, please follow and share this if you think that this is something that's going to be exciting or helpful for you. And we will talk to you very soon.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.